We're gonna build this awesome aquarium kit, but the crazy thing is, it's only this big. I have got to see what's inside this little kit. I've actually never built this before. I have never looked inside this box before. I am doing this with you guys. And I'm going to try to do it in a way that, okay, that looks believable. Doesn't cause any problems. Check this out. Is this a leveling pad? That is awesome. All right, let me gently flip this back over. This thing is adorable. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. All right, what do we got? Looks like a little bit of a filter pad. Nice little hang on the back filter. This thing looks like it's gonna pack a little bit of a punch. What else we got in here? Heater, cool. We've got the filter assembly, all right. The littlest little aquarium light that you've ever seen. Look at this LED, awesome. All right, a couple suction cups, probably for the heater, and an algae pad. I mean, honestly, they didn't have to do this, but that's pretty nice. And check out this. This is a whole color-coded set of directions for the hang-on-back filter, the light, the heater, the whole thing. Pretty cool. All right, what do we got here? Instruction manual and some more information about Lifegard. Okay. All right, I see what we got going on. Well then, this has to be the most fun little aquarium I've ever seen. Now, I am not going to put a fish in here. I'm gonna put a couple shrimp. I'm gonna put a couple snails. I'm thinking right off the bat, this would be a super fun little tank to have on your desk, in your office, or something like that. And I'm thinking maybe little amano shrimp, maybe a Neo. All right, so we got everything laid out here, and I gotta tell you, this is a complete set. You even have more than you need because this is a 1 gallon version, but there's also a 2 gallon and a 3 gallon version. And they basically give you the same filtration setup just so that it will fit either one of those. And to be honest, if you want to upgrade your tank, this filter setup is going to reach deep enough in a larger tank to where you can use the exact same HOB filter. So let's check out how we put all this together. Where to begin? All right, let's start with the filter. So you've got your main filter assembly right here. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to take this piece right here and drop it into these slots. Hits right in the motor here, and this is adjustable speed, which is pretty amazing on a little setup like this. This actually is a filter pad that you've got fine filtration, you've got a medium coarse filtration like this, and on top of that, you've even got a little bit of carbon in there. So that's gonna slide in just like this. And then when it comes to your assembly, again, you've got a couple different options, including a surface skimmer. Check this out. I'm probably not gonna use this one here, it's optional, but on a larger setup, this would bob up and down like this and break up surface tension. Not necessary in my opinion on something that's this small, so I'm not gonna worry about that. What I'm going to do then, because that would normally go here, is I'm just gonna use this little plug that they provide. Put that in there like that, no big deal. This is going to go up here to the top of that assembly. And then this piece right here is going to screw onto the bottom. Just like that. All right, where's our piece of foam? There it is. I'm gonna put some shrimp in here. I wanna make sure that they stay safe, and it's always a good idea to cover this up. It also helps keep gunk and stuff like that from getting caught up in there. So at this point, we've got basically a ready to go motor and assembly. We'll put this on, and once we do, we'll also see how this little piece goes right in here. And what that's going to do is allow this to punch off this side of your glass like this. All right. So that's sitting there like this, that's sitting even, and I can, if I don't like it sticking out that much, I can actually rotate this like that, just to make it a little bit more even. That looks about right where I want it. Okay. All right. Now, filter is done. We'll set these aside because we're not going to use them. And now let's put our heater in. So the heater, I think I will just put right back here. You could also put this horizontally down at the bottom if you'd like, but I'll just stick that right here onto the back. Cool, got that going. Plug these in here in a little bit. And then of course we have our light. Now this little light again is adorable. You could put it right here if you want. You could put it right here if you want. Maybe I'll do something along the side here. that screwed on. That over there like that. And check this out. In what was probably a couple of minutes, you've hooked up your own little desktop tank where you can put some shrimp, some snails. But first, we've got to put a little bit of decor in there, and I got a couple things planned. All right, so when I'm working on a smaller setup like this, especially, I love to go to Aqua Naturals because they have these small little bags that just fit just about any of your smaller setups. So that could be rocks, it could be gravel. They've got all sorts of cool selections and a whole wide variety. So love using these guys. So when it comes to the substrate for this one, I'm going that direction. Now, because I am dealing with a pretty small tank here, I don't want to go too big on that. So just a little bit of a bed of gravel there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these little lava rocks from Beta World, also from Aqua Naturals, the Beta World line, and I'm going to put some of these in here. I'm thinking like a little island formation, just something kind of keeping with the cube shape and the overall size of the aquarium. Like this. Might add a couple more, we'll see, but I'm just thinking something pretty simple. Maybe just one more in there like that. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna add a plant, and that's totally optional. I just think a little bit of green in here would look cool. This light will totally take care of it because we're gonna use a low light plant that doesn't require soil, so it's gonna be super easy to grow, and that plant is going to be Anubias. All right, so I grabbed this Anubias. This is Anubias Golden from one of our tanks back here, actually that guppy tank, which is something that's kind of fun to do. And you can do that from time to time in different tanks that you might have at home as well. And one of the things that's cool about Anubias is you don't need soil for these roots. These are actually gonna grow in the water column. They have a rhizome here. You just need to make sure you don't bury that. But what you can do is you can use some rocks or wood or something like that, and you can use it to hold the plant down. Otherwise, it's going to float. So I'm gonna get in here and just kind of surgically set these roots down here in this little pit of rocks just to hold this in. And then I think I will choose one more rock and get it right in front here like that. And this is gonna be the layout. And the shrimp that go in here are gonna love this. All right, so now I've got a pitcher of dechlorinated water. I'm going to gently pour this in. I typically look for something that I can bounce the water off of or let it trickle down. Especially good when you have soil, because otherwise you're really just gonna spray soil all over the place. Also, if you have a plant in here like this is just a more gentle way to do it. You don't really need to be in a hurry here. You're going to pay for it. If you are, it's best to just slowly fill up your tank. All right, one of the things that you're going to want to do is pour some water directly into the back. That's just going to help get the pump primed. That is going to help make sure that this thing operates right off the bat. You're going to hear it working. You can also put this in right before you turn it on, but as long as you do it right after, you're not going to risk injury in the pump. All right, this is running. This is super fun. I love this little thing. This is gonna be great for shrimp and snails. One thing though, to make sure it's safe for those shrimp and snails, is pick up some of this Tetra Safe Start. This is gonna make sure that the water is safe for your animals. All you have to do is just put in, I'm going to put in probably the equivalent of about a couple milliliters, just about that much. And you can always come back and add a little bit more, but this is all you should have to do in a tank this size. Now this is running, it's going to be safe for your animals. Let's get a couple shrimp in there. This is such a perfect little fish tank, especially if you're getting into your first fish tank or even something for your kids. There's so many different places in your house you can put this. So this is a lot of fun. If you're looking for something like this, check out the link in the description below.